I was invited here primarily over the yesterday, today, and tomorrow to work with arts students, acting students in specific, talking about technique and doing what I've started doing about 10, 12 years ago, master classes around the country, around the world. And I said, absolutely. And then they said, and will you come on this particular evening and talk to all the students about your life? And I went, oh, sure. And then prepared absolutely nothing. I have nothing. The closest I came to any kind of performing was I was a very serious, even at 6 years old, magician. And I'm very serious about that. At 6 years old, I dedicated myself to a life as a magician. When I went to magic camp, I really was a geek. I'm not kidding. I went to one time in band camp, is just like one time in magic camp. I was studying with some really wonderful people, and I at age 12, I had enough distance on myself to go, I'm not good enough. And I was just standing in the shallow end of the community pool, pathetically, and this absolutely stunning girl came over and said, do you do theater? And I went, I do now. And I was pulled into a production of The Sound of Music. I played a Von Trapp child. And I discovered everything that drew me into that life, which was primarily not the thrill of performing so much as community. And I started doing commercials like that fabulous McDLT product. I have the distinction of being the spokesman for the only product in the history of the McDonald's franchise that was an immediate and complete disaster. You cannot name another one. There's no other one. The McRib, nobody knows what's in it. It's a McMystery, but it comes back like a bad cold every year. If I really walked into this room as who I am really, I couldn't walk into the room. This would be too overwhelming for me. I can't do this. So this personality is a little bit manufactured. This is the role of Jason Alexander. My real name is J. Scott Greenspan. And I'm really him. I'm not really this guy, but I can do this guy pretty well. But if this guy is like George, that's a real accident too. Because George is inordinately insecure and yet has this unbelievably overinflated ego. You know, thinks the world should be worshiping at his feet, but is aware of the fact he's capable of nothing. It's a really interesting, funny dichotomy, right? I don't think I have either of those two extremes in my personality. George is incredibly reactive. If he perceives a slight, if he perceives an insult, if he perceives an injustice, you're not doing that to me! Yeah. I'll pitch at NBC, but this is the show. You're not changing the show. This is the show. It's not even a show yet.